are.
Here we are with the longest title in Joe and Todd show podcast history.
This title.
No?
This is great. So this week is an important holiday.
That's right.
July 29th. Hopefully it's on everyone's calendar.
No, July 30th. Coming up this week.
Okay, so it's this week, July 30th.
Yes.
No. Oh, July 30th.
Everyone knows when National Talking in an Elevator Day
I know, because we're quiet all year long.
How come you don't know?
I don't know. I got confused.
Everyone else
it's different
in our audience
countries.
knows.
It's different countries.
Oh, is that it?
And when I go between countries, it gets
in
confusing.
England, it's on the 29th.
That's it. Yes.
But
I
in
think
America,
this is an incredible holiday because we're quiet all year long and we don't say anything on the elevator.
Nobody says anything.
I was taught you're supposed to look at the front.
And especially this year, everyone's in their own corner.
Right, with their masks on. Yeah.
Yes.
And so now we have the National Talk on the Elevator Day.
That's right.
Very important holiday.
Today's the day.
So we want to
Not
help.
today, this week.
It might be today. Depends on when you look
Who
at the
knows
calendar.
when it is?
If you're listening to this on the 30th, it's July 30th.
No, we really didn't make this up. It's a real thing.
It really is. Google it. In fact, we put a lot of money into making this a holiday, but we'll talk about that later. So here you go. To help you get ready for National Talk on the Elevator Day, work on your elevator speech.
This episode is
in the
all
world?
about
What's an elevator speech?
what is your elevator
sounds
speech
goofy.
and why do you need one?
What is an elevator speech?
Okay, so
I feel like you're about to make so much.
No.
Okay.
When I moved back to Tulsa, I was getting this like communications training and marketing training, and everyone was saying you've got to have an elevator speech. You got to be able to talk about what you do quickly to someone in a very short amount of time, which is when you have the opportunity. So they call that your elevator.
It's like
speech
going up
or
an
your
elevator.
elevator pitch.
Or in a cab.
Right.
Or in a cocktail
Who
party.
knows when you're going to end up with the book reviewer from Bantam on an elevator
Rotary Club.
and need to talk to them about what you do for a job.
Yes, that's exactly right. So how in the world do you do that? What's that need to look like? I mean, what really, seriously? Like,
how do you create an elevator speech?
Help me know, because I know what I do.
Don't you have an elevator speech?
I do, but I don't know if it's right. What do you say?
Give me
What's yours? You give me yours.
No.
Well, what you wrote out earlier for me to say is
this is the elevator speech we drafted for you, Joe. Is
I know. No, but I'm
going to read it.
I work really hard. Let me read it. Okay, you go ahead and read mine.
Okay, it says, I'm a part of a company that helps clients do amazing, keyword amazing, special events and incredible guest experiences. We work with nonprofits, corporations, and other organizations to help them think through how they interact with their clients, donors, etc. You got to say the etc. part, and what that looks like.
So,
and hopefully it doesn't sound that boring.
That's awful. I just got to give you this picture. So for you, like guys listening at home, wherever you're listening, in your car, whatever, you got to have this picture. So we have a content meeting where we talk about the content for podcasts, and so we typically talk about content over several podcasts. So we're in the office. It's the three of us. It's Todd and I and Cheryl, who's our podcast producer. And we're just kind of talking about content, what we want to do. We talk about this idea, this concept, and you said what you always do. And I just kind of eloquently said this, everything you just read. I think I said all that.
And Cheryl typed it all out.
Cheryl typed it all out. And then what's really funny is I go to get a drink of water while I go. I come back, and you've edited my elevator speech to say something else.
Because you thought it was perfect.
And I think it's really funny. I think that's kind of funny. Like, just to get the whole picture of it all. Like, you asked me what I say spontaneously, and I told you what I say spontaneously, but now you had to edit it. So, but no, that's exactly right.
And I mean, it is part of it is it needs to be natural. It needs to feel natural.
Absolutely.
You don't want to feel like you're doing an infomercial for your company. It definitely doesn't need to be 30 minutes long. The goal is 30 seconds long.
And it can't feel rehearsed. And I think that's one of the things I struggle with is I really try to work on what I'd say, because there are words I want to make sure we get in there. I want to tailor what I say to different people. You know, if I go home and my kids ask what I did all day, I'm not going to give them my elevator speech. You know, it's like, I think there's certain times you say certain things, but I think for me, I want to feel spontaneous. And so a lot of times I'll just, like, hey, I'm an event producer. Or I try to use words that cause, like, they don't automatically have a thought process. So what I've been using a lot lately is I consult on guest experiences.
Right.
I'm a guest experience
We actually
consultant.
thought long and hard about that phrase because it's not something everybody uses. I mean, you don't just hear guest experience consultant in everyday language. And so we thought long and hard about what do we want to call ourselves? How do we want to talk about ourselves when we just have a minute to talk to somebody about what we do?
Yeah, I think guest experiences is typically hotel language. A lot of times it's hotel, and I think we are closely connected to the hotel industry.
Mm-hmm.
I love the intentionality of hotels and how they think through what they're doing for guests. And I think that's important for our clients who are typically corporations, companies, to think through what they do for their guests when they walk through a building. And so we're doing a lot of that where we're helping our clients walk through a building as a guest,
Yeah.
or at an event, or what they're getting in the mail. And for us, that when we realized our business was expanding beyond just those events into the more of the creative realm of consulting on guest experiences, that being several things, it really did help us. So a lot of times will say, I'm a guest experiences consultant, and then kind of wait for them to say, oh, what's that? And then I can say, hey, we create amazing experiences for people. And we work mostly in corporate. We do several nonprofits. And then even sometimes it's really fun to do social events and things like that for families. But we're really helping people treat their guests well.
The other word we intentionally use a lot is helping. That's just one of Joe's personality traits, is he loves to help people.
Yes.
But it also communicates that we're not necessarily stepping in and taking over for
Right.
you. We're coming alongside and we're helping you in the areas that you need help in. And whatever that is, we're happy to step in and make that happen.
When we worked with a consultant on our key values, I was super interested in that. The word that kept coming up with our team was that we language, and that idea that we're there to come alongside our clients. And we want our clients to understand that we're there to help them. We're there to assist them. We're there to make them look good. We're not there to be, hey, this program that Rumble Drum brought in, or hey, Rumble Drum's going to show us how to do this. That's not who we are. We're very much about helping others and helping that truth. So yeah, definitely an intentional word. That we language.
One of my most formative bosses in my career history always said, we are down the hall support for our clients.
Oh, I love that.
And I love that concept.
Yeah.
Of that, we're just down the hall. Just give us a call and we'll be right over and we'll help you with that problem, whatever it is.
I love that. That's super cool. And I think that's one of the things that I want to convey in my elevator speech is that we're there.
We're there to help you.
Yeah, exactly. And I think no matter who you're talking to, I'm always looking for people to help me do things in life.
Sure.
I'm not typically looking for somebody to take something over unless it's mowing my lawn or building something for me. I'm not typically looking for someone to make something happen independently of me. I want them to make me look better in doing that.
So the other piece of the elevator speech that we use intentionally a lot, and you probably see it in a lot of our communications and even marketing materials, is the word amazing.
Yeah.
And I think I said that to you one time. We were trying to brainstorm about an event and we want to do something amazing. And I said, let's do something amazing. Let's not just do the usual, gobos on the wall and uplights. Let's do something amazing for this event. And it might have even been that bicycle mobile that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think it was before that, because what I remember first coming up was when we were talking about what to put on the back of some t-shirts we're having made. And there were company t-shirts, and you said, how about we just put on there what we say all the time? And I'm like, what do we say all the time? And you're like, and I'm like, let's make money. And you're like, no. It's like, let's do something amazing. And I loved it. And I think it's even like the opening to our website, right? I think it's on the opening page or whatever.
Tagline in a lot of places.
Yeah. And we still do that on our t-shirts. Let's do something amazing. And you're right. I think that does communicate something different about us that is important as part of our.
Well, and we want to do something amazing, not just because we like doing amazing things, but we want to do something amazing for our clients so that their guests will talk about our clients.
That's right.
And bring more business.
Out of the ordinary.
And it just creates that buzz and it's good for everybody.
I love that. The other thing we use a lot, that again is intentional language, is the ideas of create and design. The idea of taking an idea and turning it into something, making ideas happen, that sort of idea. And so I think create and design definitely do that. I think again, working with some of our team on developing our mission statement, vision statement, and that idea of we create experiences that inspire the world. And I think that's an important element. I think that's an important element to talk about, that create and design. That is what we do at the core. We're creators, we're creatives, and we like to make things and build things and design things. And so I want to say that to people. I want to make sure they're going to know I'm a creative when I get my 30 seconds done with them.
So it's a really conscious effort. This elevator speech concept is a really conscious effort to use words that will paint a picture of what you do that will stick in people's minds. Yeah. That, we're using the design word, we're using the create word, we're using the amazing word, we're using the guest experiences concept. All those things are just like artist brushes, trying to create a picture for people that's memorable, and so when they see you again or they think about you again, they know what you do and what you stand for.
No, that's exactly right. I think that's the important part of the elevator speech, or that it's also can be called kind of a mission statement. What am I about? What do I do?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
And I think boiling all that down into something that someone walks away with, and they know how to refer you. They know who to call. Maybe they're calling you themselves, or maybe they just want to know more. Maybe they're just intrigued by what you say. And I think that's the important part of how you construct, how you design that elevator speech to be a way that says that. So obviously mine are never the same. I've never said two things the same in my entire life. Even when I work at it, sometimes I don't say it the same. But I can tell you they always have elements of guest experiences. They typically give a hint to events because that's just what everyone can relate to. I typically use the word amazing. I typically use the word help. And I typically talk about corporate events because, again, I kind of feel like if I can talk about corporate events, that helps people be in the right mode of where we're at. And even though we do a lot of nonprofit events, we do weddings, we do birthday parties, all that sort of thing, they can still translate that back. If I talk about corporate events, they know what that means. I remember sitting next to a guy one day at a chamber event or Rotary Club, or I don't remember where it was, but he was a banker. And it was real interesting because he asked what I did, and I said, I own a company. And I just kind of fumbled a little bit, and they're like, oh, wait, get on track, say what I do. And so I said something like this, like, we create, my business partner and I create amazing experiences for guests. And he's like, so tell me more about that. And so I knew he was a banker, and I just began using him as an example of like, hey, we want to talk about how people, like your customers, come in and see you and what they think about. And so we go from that angle. We also go from your employee angle. But I basically applied everything I was saying about him and how it applies in his life. And I loved how it happened afterwards. And I thought that's something I want to remember, is that there's a lot of times a way to make sure we're including them in what we're talking about. And by the end of the conversation, he should have been a client. I don't think it happened, but at the end of the conversation, it was great because he suddenly got it. He lit up like, oh, this all makes sense. We need people like you. This is great. And I can help you. And I just used all the elements of what guest experiences are about.
Yeah, that's good. And I think, that's one of the reasons we used that word guest experiences, is it leaves people a little bit questioning, and it leaves it open-ended enough to where you can have a conversation if they want to, and start to ask questions, and maybe even contact you again and say, hey, you said guest experiences, what does that really mean? And opens the door for even more conversation.
Absolutely. And I think, again, not to just kind of bring a different angle in, for us on that experiences, it also helped us to communicate experiences was a variety of things, because we are creatives. Exactly. We're a creative company. Experience can be looking at a print ad. It can be looking at a room. It can be something we've designed. It can be employee training. It can be, there's all kinds of things that experiences can include. And that was really helpful to us. Board retreat. Quinceañera, whatever, how do you say that word?
Quinceañera.
You say it better than you. But I think that's an important thing to remember. So creatives typically don't talk about themselves well. And for me as a creative, and I've noticed for you, learning to use the language confidently. I'm always intrigued when someone asks what you do, because you're never quite sure where the architect thing should play in. You're never quite sure if you should say, I own a company, or I'm the CEO of a company. You're really not comfortable with that. And I've always kind of wanted you to say
it's always a little different.
I know, it's always different. I always want you to say something about how creative you are, or I love to design things. I love to design things for a long time. I've been working in architecture. Now I own. And I always think that's a good way.
Maybe you should write my elevator
speech. I need to write your elevator speech. Because when I'm listening to you, I always think, oh yeah, I wish you would say this. Because I feel like you're not always as confident in what you do well. And you're an amazing ideas person. You're an amazing creative person. You design things well. I'd love for you to say that more. And I think I can learn from that too. I think there's some, but I think that it's hard for creatives to say, yes, this is what I do, and this is what I do well.
It's hard, but it's worth doing.
Absolutely. So
as soon as we finish this, I'll hit replay and listen to the episode for myself.
Good idea. Good idea. It's again important to realize it's not just for the elevators.
Oh yeah, it's for the receptions. It's for the cocktail hours. It's for the meeting the person on the street.
I think sometimes it's for that introduction when you first walk into a meeting.
Absolutely.
That meeting we were in this morning, I was sitting there thinking, there's this whole room full of people. Half of them are new. They haven't met us before. They learned our names, but I was kind of wondering what someone else has said about us. And I was thinking, I hope they've used
do they know what we do?
Some of the words to describe us that we use. And I think they probably did. Knowing who they are, knowing that they've been around us for a long time, they're a long-time client, but I think they probably use some of our words because we use them repeatedly. And that's a cool thing too, to think about how you introduce yourselves. We also introduce ourselves in our proposals. We also introduce ourselves on our website.
Right. That's a lot more words, though.
It is a lot more words, but it's still the same concept. It's still the same exact thing.
Message.
Yeah. This has been cool. I think, obviously, a lot more than just preparing you for talk on an elevator this week. We want to prepare you for succeeding in business, and especially as creatives, we want to make sure that what you're doing out there is long-reaching, productive, making lots of money, being successful, doing things the way you want to do it. And the first step in that is being confident in who you are and being able to tell people that. So I really believe, in fact, I gave some advice to someone one time. They were trying to figure out what they wanted to do in life. And I said, just write about 90 seconds of who you are. And then that's what you'll do in life. And it was kind of like, well, I don't know if it's true or not, but it sounded really good when I was telling this person. And I've thought about that since then. It's like, I think there's a lot of truth to that. If you can write down about 90 seconds worth of, hey, this is who I am, this is what I'm about, or 30 seconds, and then that's really what you'll do in life. So that's what we want to help you with, is being that person that can just pretty quickly say, this is who I am, this is what I do. If you need help with that, give us a call. We'd love to help you. Email Todd.
Joe will write yours for you.
And Todd will edit it, because that's what he does when I'm not looking. Come back with notes on my paper. No, Todd at rumbledrum.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to engage more. Watch for us on social media and tune in this week, because there's some fun stuff happening with National Elevator Day.
That's right. Be sure and friend us and like us and follow us on all the social medias.
And if you're on our mailing list, hopefully you've received a card that wishes you Happy National Talk on an Elevator Day. If you didn't, let us know, and we'd love to add you to our mailing list to make sure you get stuff. We do some fun stuff.
Absolutely.
The old-fashioned way, through the mail. So
the post.
Through the post. So do that this week as well.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Next week's going to be fun. It's a really cool one.
Yeah, what is it?
How to work with creatives without making them mad. I don't know. This is good. I don't know if anyone else has experience. I know as a creative, when I work with other creatives, you a lot of times walk away with your feelings hurt. And
me?
Never. So this is tips next week on how to work with Todd so he doesn't get mad.
Joe.
Or other creatives. So tune in. How to work with a creative without making them too mad.
See you next time. Take care.
Have a great week.